So it's kind of a rainy day, and that was rough. I didn't mean to knock the tripod over. Oh gosh, don't fall over, you. Okay, so anyways, it's rainy out, but I love where we live. Northern California is my favorite place I think that I've ever been to. I've lived in California my whole life. We lived in Southern California for a while too. It's wonderful down there. We lived in San Diego. Loved it. Oh, California's full of so many good things. So I thought today we would do 5 best Northern California hidden gems to visit in 2020. If you haven't been to California, especially Northern California, it's the best part of California. And somebody just texted me, so it's more important. Okay, let's go into it. Let's get into it. Jump into it. Do it to it. Should I make this a little better? No, it's fine. The first town is a town that I know quite well, and that is the Gold Country of California, especially around like the Placerville area of California, which is about 40 miles east of Sacramento on Highway 50. And it's near a town called Coloma, which is actually where gold was discovered in California, and that's what started the whole westward march toward gold and riches. So, okay. I need a Kleenex, but it's okay. The thing that makes this area so unique, I think, is for one thing, a lot of people don't really visit here because, I don't know, it's not a big tourist draw. It's not like it has all these wham bam fangled things to do. But if you want like a history lesson and you want to see like a really, really cool kind of old mining town that's been converted into a cute walkable street with like shops and good restaurants and things like that. If you like walkable towns like that, Placerville is pretty dang great. So this is the day trip. This is what you do. I would recommend. You go to Placerville in the morning. You walk down Main Street. Well, we made it here. This is Main Street in Placerville. This is the street that I think looks quite a bit like any, pretty much any Hallmark or Lifetime movie. Yeah. In Placerville, there's an old bell tower. There's some cool restaurants. No good bakeries, though. So I don't know where you should get your coffee in the morning if that's a thing that you do. Just go to Starbucks or wherever you go. Yeah. Okay, so you walk down Main Street, you explore that area. It's really cool. Then you head out on Highway 49, that's a good road, and you go out to Coloma. Coloma, pretty much any time of year is awesome, but it's definitely best in the spring and the fall because there's fewer crowds and it's not hot. It's beautiful. And in Coloma, there's a museum there that talks about the old gold rush. You can actually see down where in the American River, kind of where gold was discovered. Hey, I'm filming a video for Suburban Pilgrims. What are you doing?
Me too.
We're both doing it.
1848, James Marshall discovered gold here right in the river behind us. And so before he was here, there were all the...
Nisian?
No.
Nisayan?
No.
Yeah.
Starts with a CH.
Chuma Indians?
Maybe both were here.
There are so many Indians here, we don't even know. There were tons of Indians.
We know a lot. Anyways, but so they have the grinding rocks here, the Indian grinding rocks, and obviously...
Explain what a grinding rock is for people that live in, the world that doesn't have rocks. There's like... I don't know, that's about it. There's not a whole lot there, I will say. But it's a state park and it's open. It's not like a state park that you have to like drive into and pay a toll. Although I think to park there, you do have to pay like $5 for parking. But outside of that, the whole place, you just walk around, you explore, bring a picnic because there's some restaurants out there, but not a lot. So it's like you bring a picnic, there's grass areas, there's trails. It's just a great place to go with your family and spend a day just kind of hanging out. Yay! Okay, that was the first one. That wasn't like the best one. I'm not going like number one. This is the number one. I'm just saying that's the first one. And it's not the best one. They're going to get better from here. Oh yay! I got my things in today. I ordered some stuff from Amazon and they came in. They came in early. That's huzzah! That's great. This is what I ordered. Do. You couldn't see it. Secret. Okay, number 2 is absolutely a hidden gem. A lot of people don't know about it, but it is the area of Glen Ellen. Glen Ellen, you say? Where is that? Well, it is outside of Napa Valley. It's closer to Sonoma. So Napa Valley is like the wine region, in California. It's amazing. Napa's amazing. Then you go to Sonoma. Sonoma's even better. It's like a smaller version of Napa, but it's like better, more quaint, more charming, better wineries, I think. Then from Sonoma, you go to Glen Ellen, and Glen Ellen's like, it's the best. It's a tiny, I wouldn't even call it a town. It is a town, but it's very small. There's a few boutique wineries out there, but one of the best parts about Glen Ellen, the thing that we love about Glen Ellen, is that it is where Jack London, the famous author, that's where he lived. I was going to say that's where he resided, but that's not how you say things. So he lived there, and actually he died there. So after he and his wife Charmaine, wasn't that her name? I'm pretty sure. They had a boat called the Snark. Wasn't that what it was called? I don't know. But they traveled all over the world on this boat. And then he got kind of sick. Jack London, he was getting older, not doing great. So he bought this piece of property in Glen Ellen. Huge, gorgeous piece of property. And he built what he called, because he's not alive anymore. So, spoiler alert. It's called the Wolf House. And the Wolf House was the most beautiful looking structure. It wasn't just a structure. It was a home. So whatever. But it had these huge boulders. It was built in this redwood grove. It looked unbelievable. And then about 2 weeks before they were finished with the construction and the family was going to move in, it burned to the ground. Brutal. So what you see there in Glen Ellen is the ruins of this beautiful home. You see the structure, you see the fireplaces, you see what it was going to be. And it burned to the ground, and it devastated him, and he was going to rebuild it, and then he died, and it's really sad.
This is Jack London's house that he built with his family. It burned down.
It burned down.
And it was so nice.
Yeah.
You got a ladder you can climb up. That was it upstairs. What did they dive in?
And so the house that he and his wife were living in is still there. You can see the house that he lived in and wrote some books in, and it's amazing. I'm not even like a huge, I like before we went there, it was like Jack London. What did Jack London do? I just kept saying Jack London, thinking it would trigger something in my mind, and it didn't. I was like, oh, he's that guy who wrote books that I didn't read. But after going to this property, it's a state park now, state something. There's like a $10 entrance fee. It's so beautiful out there. It's amazing. It's like a half day kind of thing. You don't spend a lot of time out there, but you drive out there, you park, you walk out to the ruins. This is not what you have to do. I'm saying like, this is what you do. You park, you go out. This is what you're going to do. No, you're not. You can do whatever you want. Don't listen to me. You do what you want. This is what we do. We drive in, we park at the Wolf House parking structure, and then you walk into a house that his wife, I believe, built after he passed away, and that's what she lived in. It's a beautiful house in the redwoods and other trees. And then you hike, it's like a mile or so on this beautiful trail out to the Wolf House ruins. And then you can go to the house that he and his wife lived in for years while they were building the Wolf House. I mean, it's just the most beautiful combination of nature, and it's quiet. There's not a lot of people out there. It's perfect. And then there's lots of little wineries, like just to drive out there to get there. Driving through Sonoma, it's so good. Oh, this next one. Okay, let's get in close because this next one's really good. Not that the other ones haven't been, but this one's really good. So this one's pretty dang close to where we live, and it is Truckee. Truckee is a town that I visited when I was a kid. There was nothing there. It was pretty ugly, and I didn't have good memories of it. And then my wife and I visited Truckee, 10 years ago or so, and we were like, whoa, what the heck happened to Truckee? It is now the hipsters, like mountain hipster paradise. My daughter came in, Erica, who you know from old vlogs and stuff, and we have a podcast we're doing. Okay, so you don't get to see her, but we have a podcast that we started called Grim Wonders. You can find it in Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. We only have 3 episodes in there right now, and one of them isn't working. So we have 2 episodes in there, but we're working on another show today. It's really good. If you like kind of spooky stories, but they're all true stories, just weird, unexplained things that have happened that people don't have answers for in our world, that's what our podcast is. It's good for like a rainy day, and it's like kind of cold out, and you have a fire going, and the lights are dim, and there's candles, and you have a blanket, and it's like kind of creepy. That's the mood that our podcast tries to create. It's really good. You should check it out.
What places are you?
Okay, so I did Placerville around here, like Coloma. Truckee, Glen Allen, Avenue of the Giants, and Fort Bragg.
Oh, yeah. I was at like a beach spot. Fort Bragg's perfect.
Yeah.
I want to go back there.
Me too. Okay, so we're back. So Truckee, so it is like, I mean, for one thing, there's so many things about Truckee that it's like makes it the best. Okay, there's 3 things actually. One is that it is like if a nature mountain lover's paradise. It is gorgeous, alpine, huge like bouldery rocks with all kinds of alpine-y evergreen trees and mountains, and it's rugged. It's so good. 2 is that it has this downtown area, like Truckee itself, that is so hip and cool, and they've made it like this funky. It is like, if you're into like I'm gonna put in a picture of somebody who's like, you're probably from Truckee if you look like this. So it's that kind of town. It has all kinds of really cool like coffee shops. And I don't know if the restaurants are good. There's a couple restaurants that are good. There's the best burger place in the world up there called Burger Me. It's unbelievable. Oh. It's so good. Anyways, so there's good restaurants, and it is just like the shops. It's the best. It's the coolest town. So then that's the second thing. The third thing is that is where, if you know about California, Northern California history, then you probably know about the Donner Party. The Donner Party left from Chicago? I don't know, but they left from somewhere on the East Coast. They were heading west like so many people were, but they left, long story, but anyways, they got trapped in the Sierra Nevada mountain range, and they got stuck in Stuckey. Stuck in Truckee. And so that whole, they have a museum there, a state-ran museum about the Donner Party and what happened to them. It's horrible, but it's also a beautiful museum. The museum also has a section just about Truckee itself and how, this is what's cool about the museum. It kind of starts with, it goes through Truckee's history. So it starts with like the Native Americans that lived there. So it goes through like the people that lived there before, and then the Donner Party, and then it goes through like the 1950s and the travel. No, even before that, it's like the 1920s or 30s, because the Lincoln Highway ran through Truckee. Oh my gosh, there's so much about Truckee. Okay, this whole video could be about Truckee because there's another part of Truckee. There's so much history. Another spot that you can go to in Truckee is this railroad. It's an abandoned railroad, but it's a line that used to run there from like the 1850s. You know the like the railroads that came together from like Chicago and the West Coast, and they met up, and you know what I'm talking about? In the old days when they built railroads. Anyways, so there's a railroad in Truckee, and it goes along the mountain cliff. It's gorgeous up there, and it actually tunneled. The tunnels, that's what I'm talking about.
The graffiti.
Oh, and the graffiti too. So there's these tunnels that the trains used to go through that are, you walk through them now, it's like trail system. These massive tunnels, they're beautiful, there's bats in there. People have done like artwork. There is some actual artwork, but there's a lot of just graffiti, but it's kind of cool. But it is amazing. So anyways, this is what's cool about this thing. So you walk through the tunnel though, and that's cool. So you have this level of history from the so much. Okay, this gets me excited. So, as you're walking up to the train tunnel, you'll see these Indian, what are those called? You know, like, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but the Indians used to like crush acorns and things to make like things out of. So they crush things in rocks. They'd take a rock and then they start to pound it against like a big boulder. There'd be like a big boulder planted in the earth, and they'd take a smaller rock and start to crush like things. And eventually they'd build these like, there's holes in these rocks from the Indians like crushing acorns and whatever else they crushed in there. What were they called? Indian grinding stones. Okay, so you start and you're walking up to, oh my gosh, I forgot about this. And even beyond that, so you're walking through and you see these Indian grinding stones, like from who knows how far back, however long the Indians lived there. And then you see, what are they called? Carvings in the rock from like the old native people from who knows how long ago, like carvings in the rock, like these stalagmites, stalactites. What are they called? Those are things in caves. Put it in the comments. You know what I'm talking about. But when they used to like actually carve different symbols and things in rock. So those are there. Who knows how old they are. So you're starting back, who knows how far. Hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands of years before you start on these rocks. Then you climb up to this train tunnel that was built that's historic from like the 1840s, 1850s when they were building this. And there was like the China, like the men they bring in from China to work on the railroad. This whole thing, this whole history, crazy thing happened there. Then you walk, then next to the tunnel, there is the Lincoln Highway, the old Lincoln Highway that was like the first highway for cars way back when, 1920s. And the Lincoln Highway went through Truckee, and you can see remnants of it. It's not even there anymore. You see little bits of like pavement here and there, and you see the actual road path, and you see a tunnel that still has a little bit of the paint that says Lincoln Highway. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And what else? That was it. That's the end of the history, right? Oh, no, because you're right next to the Donner Party, too. The Donner Party all died there. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. Just that alone is worth going to Truckee. But there's so much more. Then there's a lake there, in Truckee. There's it's the Donner Lake. It's beautiful. Truckee. If you haven't been there in a while, holy cow. Spend a day or two. There's camping, there's hotels, there's all kinds of stuff there. It is spectacular. It's kind of between, if you don't know the area, it's kind of between Reno, Nevada and Sacramento-ish. It's closer to Reno. It's actually not too far from Reno. Oh, the place is amazing. Okay. That one gets me excited. I want to go up there. Okay, the next one, holy cow. We're getting better and better here. But the next one for me is like my childhood. So every part of like what I love about the world is kind of wrapped up into this place. And that is the Avenue of the Giants.
This part.
Today, we're in my favorite place in the world, I think, one of them, the California coastal redwoods. It's in Northern California along the coast, and it's this road that goes through the Avenue of the Giants, the coastal redwoods. Ancient trees, 2,000-year-old trees that are bigger than this room. And it is, I could spend the next 5 years talking about what I love about the redwoods. And it's the kind of thing, though, it doesn't matter how much I talk about it or how much you've seen. If you've seen pictures of redwoods, it doesn't matter. It's the kind of place that you go to, and it's just, unless you're not human and you don't have a heart or a brain. Otherwise, if you do, it's like mind-blowing. It's not just mind-blowing. It's not about the trees or their size. It's about the forest itself. The coastal redwood forests, especially along Avenue of the Giants, are unique to any other forest in the world, dare I say. There's nothing else like it. It is, I can't even explain it. There's just something about those forests that are unexplainable. That's all I'll say. So if you can get to the Avenue of the Giants, get the heck up there. There's a little campground called Burlington. It's a state park. That's where we used to camp, and I love it just for nostalgic reasons. But it's right in the heart of the Avenue of the Giants. So if you want to know exactly like my favorite spots, why would you want to know that? Who cares? But if you want to know, you could just drive to, put in directions to Burlington Campground, and that's all of that around there. Okay, last one. We're almost done. Last one is Fort Bragg, California. Fort Bragg is where my wife and I got married. It is in Northern California. It's a tiny, run-down, beat-up town along the Northern California coast. The industry there used to be logging because it's close to the redwoods, and that shut down, and the town has not really found its footing. It's not really a touristy place at all yet. It's filled with like old fishermen. It's filled with old fishermen, and I did that second time because I was going to edit this, but I might not edit it. Why do I keep doing that? Because it's entertaining. It keeps your focus. Because you're probably like looking at your phone like, this video's stupid now. And then I go, and you're like, whoa, what? This is exciting now. So anyways, so it has like old real fishermen and old lumberjacks that used to work in the town who now don't work anymore. And it's kind of a poverty-stricken, it's like a weird town. It's funky for sure. It's not like really, it's not like nice in a way, but I also Love it. There's something about it that I just love. And there's also a town nearby just south of Fort Bragg called Mendocino. Mendocino is like one of the most picturesque kind of Victorian towns you could ever see. Of course, there's Ferndale, not Ferndale. Ferndale, yes? Anyways. It is where, if you ever saw the movie The Majestic with, what's his name? You know, the comedian, the funny guy, what's his name? Anyways, look up The Majestic. If you've never seen The Majestic, it doesn't matter. But there's a lighthouse in Majestic, and there's also this town, and they filmed it in Mendocino. Mendocino, it's a beautiful town. Just the most quaint, picturesque little town on the ocean with beautiful views that not really anybody visits. These towns aren't like super touristy. I mean, this summer there's tourists there, but you go in the winter time because it's beautiful along the Northern California coast in the winter. Beautiful. There's nobody there. You have this whole picturesque, beautiful town. And that's the thing about both these towns I love is that they're just working towns. They're not trying to really get tourists there yet. They're working towards it kind of, but they're not there yet, so they're not touristy. They're just towns that people live in along the coast, and they are beauty beyond words. Holy cow. Anyways, that's going to do it for today. If you can get out to Northern California, those would be the spots I'd say you have to hit. Skip San Francisco. Although, I mean, there's some cool things there, but those are the hot spots. Those are the gems that most people don't really visit, and they are, to me, what make California spectacular. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, tell YouTube that you like it. And the only way that YouTube listens is if you give the video, you hit the thumbs up button, you comment, you share the video, then YouTube's like, oh, people like this. Oh, and watch it, but you've watched the video because you probably watched it. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Did you? It's not a wine. This wasn't like a cigar video, which are the videos that have been doing best for me. Like, I don't know why everybody watches the cigar videos and nobody watches anything else. What the heck, YouTube? I don't understand how YouTube works, but I enjoy the cigar videos. Here's the problem with cigar videos if you're still watching this. Cigar videos, YouTube doesn't like them. They shun cigar videos. They don't want cigar or alcohol or anything like that. So I'm afraid, not that this channel is big or anything, but I'm hoping one day it'll grow. And I think that doing too many cigar videos will hinder that potential growth. So I can only do so many cigar videos. So I got to do other videos, but nobody wants these videos. Did you like this video? I hope you did. I'm going to do more of this kind of stuff. I don't know. All right, goodbye.